Dylan is a 19-year-old who has a passion for nature.
I don't know what type of bird it is, but I know this bird has caused hassles for everyone.
But that simple normality we take for granted. Even eye contact takes effort for him. His mother, 𝗀𝗵𝗶𝗴𝗶, remembers how differently his story began.
From the age of 18 months, you start noticing when milestones are not being reached. It was actually the schools that turned around and said, Dylan is not at all communicating the way that the others of his age are. One of the turning points for me was we had discovered that he was experiencing 𝗶𝗵𝗶𝗀 seizures. To me, it's almost like a light switch that would go on and off. And in Dylan's case, 300 to 400 times in a day.
By age 7, Dylan hadn't even said a sentence.
𝗀𝗵𝗶𝗴𝗶 was going through a plethora of emotions and had been with Dylan to see so many specialists along the way. But then a pediatric neurologist made what seemed to be the final diagnosis.
We were literally 15 to 20 minutes into our consult with the doctor when he said, this child unfortunately is highly autistic, most likely very low functioning. We need to consider putting him in a home. He most likely will never speak properly.
This is a story which revolves around autism, which can take many forms. Not being able to express yourself verbally, being highly sensitive to certain sounds, sights, smells, or even touch. But this isn't a story about medical discoveries. It's one young man's journey along with his family.
There are few statistics on autism in South Africa. However, it affects 1 to 2% of the world's population.
I had lost a child before Dylan was born to brain cancer. And fighting for a child's life is very different to fighting a label like this.
Dylan loves nature, and after he'd interacted with farm animals at school one day, it helped him break through his communication barrier.
We had spent a lot of time in the car, traveling to different schools a lot. I did ask, how was your day? And suddenly he answered me. He said, I had a good day, Mom.
You must have wanted to cry.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. She approached 8 schools which said that they wouldn't be able to cope with Dylan. He was basically unteachable. But one teacher saw possibilities in this 10-year-old boy.
Well, in the beginning, he didn't pass the entrance exam, and I fought to have him. And I got him. And I took Dylan into my bridging class. I put Dylan down. I said, look at me. And he actually looked at me and he started doing what I told him to do. Dylan didn't know how to do most things. He couldn't put colors together. He didn't recognize his own name.
It wasn't easy. Dylan had to painstakingly pass several years of school during his bridging class. But his strong support system helped him overcome his learning barriers. And to everyone's amazement, after 2 years, he joined mainstream classes. Making friends wasn't easy until he met neighbor 𝗶𝗶𝗶𝗶𝗀.
Now, I've been told you were like the bodyguard.
Yes, I was.
Were you protecting him?
So I just didn't want him to go through things that people would normally go through in those younger days. If you were different, people would point it out. Kids can be mean.
And he's quite time-specific, time-conscious.
Yes. So we are reminded very often that flexibility is not in his vocab. When we say we're leaving at 7 minutes to 8, Dylan will be ready at 7 minutes to 8.
Dylan taught me to be humble. He's going to pass matric. He's finishing it in 1 year. I think if the doctors that saw him and diagnosed him have to see him now, I don't think they will even recognize this child.
A label Dylan doesn't mind is actor, and helping him perform is drama teacher 𝗀𝗵𝗶𝗴𝗶.
You're talking about a young man who couldn't look you in the eye a few years ago.
Exactly, and that's how much he's grown. I think a big thing for Dylan, especially when it comes to drama and performing, is the fact that he gets to let go. He likes things that are right and that are wrong, and the moment that he can play a character like that, he gets to put himself in someone else's shoes.
His acting partner is Hannah Brown.
Well, I enjoy it because I feel like we both help each other. I like to help Dylan become more into the piece. He's also very good at making sure I am practicing and learning my lines because I like to procrastinate and forget about it.
There are detectives out there from several states, arms filled with open case files, expecting confessions.
I did not do these things, Liz. I am feeding them information. Little bits of bullshit. This is all gonna end.
When you're on stage, do you become another person?
Definitely, I become like a different person just to have a break with like my personality.
Dylan, what annoys you or upsets you about life, society, people?
Simply by judgments on people and also people's differences.
And that may have been what inspired him to help start a school committee to make students like Hannah feel more accepted.
Like we simply try to make some of the students like equal to school.
From a young age, I've been very masculine presenting in the way I present myself. Got the guy's uniform on. I'm also gay, so that's something society deems as different.
He'd hardly been away from home until a 2-week school camp that saw him pushing himself further than ever before. Those emotions were captured in letters between him and his family.
It felt like there was hope. Now I am in the dark, alone. We have to sit in the dark for reflecting on ourselves. I really can't wait to get home. I was quite tearful when I got my letters. After I read those letters, I just simply said, no, got to keep going. So I just got myself back up and then we just kept moving forward.
He recently passed his driver's test. First time.
A lot of your success has revolved around proving other people wrong.
Yes, for sure. It just shows that it is possible to prove people wrong.
In those quiet moments when you want to be alone, what goes through your mind?
Simply by how different I am, and also think about like my future goal would be.
One of your goals is to go to a bush college?
Yes, to become a game ranger and then later on own a game lodge. Hopefully best well-known game reserve by its conservation.
Do you feel a sense of freedom when you're in the bush?
Yes, I do. It's like very peaceful and I don't feel different in the bush.
I think there are a lot of lessons to be learned here, especially in the definition of success.
As a family, we have never really wanted our children necessarily to go and build empires. They need to find a place where they can build a happy life and inspire people.